Have you ever paid for a very expensive dinner? Looked across the table at a woman carrying a very expensive handbag, and listened to her proudly tell you that she does not need a man? It is a very confusing moment. She is wearing clothes she bought with her own money. She drove to the restaurant in a car she bought with her own money. She tells you how much she makes at her job. But when the waiter brings the heavy leather book with the bill inside, she suddenly goes completely blind. She looks at the ceiling. She looks at her phone. She waits for you to pull out your wallet. Today, we are going to smash the biggest, most confusing lie in the modern dating world. We are talking about the massive trap of the fake independent woman. Society tells you that modern women do not need your money anymore. They say women are making their own money now. But if you have been in the real dating market, you know the cold, hard truth. Her money is her money. But your money is still supposed to be our money. If you do not learn how to spot this dangerous financial trap, you will end up completely broke, paying for a luxurious lifestyle for a woman who does not even respect you. Let us talk about the true danger of the boss babe mindset. A truly independent person does not need to constantly tell everyone how independent they are. A lion does not walk through the jungle telling the other animals that he is a lion. He just is a lion. When a woman constantly shouts that she does not need a man and she makes her own money, she is not stating a fact. She is setting up a highly manipulative test. She is warning you. She is saying, I have a very expensive lifestyle, and if you want to be with me, you have to pay for it, because I am not going to lower my standards. Let us look at a real story about a man who fell completely into this terrible trap. This is the story of a man who lost his savings to a woman who made more money than him. We will call him Brian. Brian was a regular, hardworking guy. He met a woman named Jessica. Jessica was a manager at a big company. She made very good money. On their first date, she talked for an hour about how independent she was. She said she hated weak men and she needed a man who could lead. Brian thought he hit the jackpot. He thought, finally, a woman who will not use me for my money. He was completely wrong. Because Jessica made good money. She liked going to very expensive places. She wanted to eat at 5-star restaurants. She wanted to go to high-end cocktail bars. And every single time the bill came, she expected Brian to pay. Her logic was completely twisted. She told Brian, I am a high-value woman. If you want the privilege of taking me out, you have to step up and be a traditional provider. Brian was totally confused. She was a modern, independent woman when it came to her career. But she suddenly became a helpless, traditional woman the exact second the bill arrived. Brian maxed out 2 of his credit cards trying to keep up with her expensive tastes. He went into heavy debt. And when his credit cards finally declined one night, Jessica looked at him with pure disgust. She called him a broke boy and left him for a guy who owned a successful business. Brian lost his money and his pride. All because he tried to buy the love of a woman who was already rich. Brian is a loser in this game because he accepted a massive double standard. He allowed a woman to keep all of her own resources while completely draining his resources. You see, a fake independent woman uses her money to build her own kingdom. She buys herself nice shoes. She buys herself expensive makeup. She goes on vacations with her friends. She uses her money for her own fun. But she expects you to pay for the actual heavy lifting. She expects you to pay for the dates, the rent, and the car repairs. She uses the word independent as a shield to protect her own bank account, while she actively attacks yours. There is another type of story we have to look at. This is the story of the emotional drain. We will call him Chris. Chris dated a woman who was fiercely independent, but she used it as a weapon against his manhood. She made her own money, and she never let Chris forget it. Every time Chris tried to do something nice for her, like buy her a small gift or fix something in her apartment, she would get angry. She would say, "I do not need your help, I can do it myself." But then, when her car broke down and needed a $2,000 repair, she suddenly called Chris crying. She said she did not want to touch her savings account. She made Chris feel guilty. She said, "If you really love me, you will help me out, I am so stressed." Chris paid the mechanic. She completely stripped Chris of his role as a provider when things were easy, but she demanded his money when things got hard. She only let him be a man when it cost him cash. Chris eventually felt so empty and used that he walked away. He realized she did not want a partner. She wanted a free emergency fund. Now, let us look at the complete opposite. Let us look at a man who understood the game perfectly and kept his absolute dignity. This is the story of a true winner. We will call him Marcus. Marcus went on a date with a woman who immediately started bragging about her large salary. She told Marcus she was a boss. She owned her own house, and she did not need anything from anybody. Marcus just smiled and nodded. He let her talk. They had a nice dinner. They ordered expensive steaks and a bottle of wine. When the waiter brought the heavy bill, he set it in the middle of the table. The woman stopped talking. She crossed her arms and stared at Marcus, waiting for him to pick it up. Marcus did not panic. He did not feel intimidated by her money. He calmly picked up the bill, looked at the total, and then looked right into her eyes. He smiled and said, "Since you are a highly successful, independent woman who does not need a man to take care of her, we are going to split this right down the middle. I will put my card down for my half." The look on her face was absolute shock. She turned bright red. She started stammering and making excuses. She said, "Well, I thought real men were supposed to pay for the first date. It is about being a gentleman." Marcus kept his voice totally calm. He said, "A gentleman pays for a woman who appreciates his protection and his provision. You spent the last hour telling me you do not need those things. So, I am treating you exactly like the independent equal you claim to be." She angrily threw her credit card on the table. She barely spoke to him for the rest of the night. When they walked out to the parking lot, Marcus did not try to hug her. He just said goodnight and drove away. He never called her again. Marcus is a massive winner. He did not let a toxic woman shame him into opening his wallet. He called her bluff. He proved that her independence was just a fake mask she wore to hide her deep entitlement. You must understand that a good, masculine man actually wants to provide. Providing is built into your primal DNA. It feels good to take care of a woman. It feels good to buy her dinner and make her feel safe. But you must only provide for a woman who honors you, respects you, and appreciates your sacrifice. When a woman tells you she does not need you, believe her. Do not try to prove your worth by spending your hard-earned money on her. If she does not need you, then she definitely does not need your cash. The modern dating market is designed to drain you. It tells women they deserve traditional treatment from men, while giving absolutely zero traditional respect in return. You are expected to be the old-school gentleman who opens doors and pays for everything, while she gets to be the modern boss who talks down to you and keeps all her own money. Do not accept that terrible deal. Keep your wallet tightly closed until you find a woman who brings pure peace, cooperation, and genuine gratitude to the table. If she demands your money while screaming about her independence, let her be independent all by herself. I want to hear from the brothers who have survived this exact trap. Go down to the comments section right now and answer this smart question with brutal honesty. What was the most expensive thing an independent woman ever expected you to pay for? Right after she bragged about how much money she makes? Did she make you pay for a luxury vacation while she kept her savings full? Did she expect you to pay her rent while she bought designer shoes? Write your exact story down in the comments. Let us expose this massive double standard so the younger men reading this can learn to keep their money safe. Protect your bank account. Protect your peace of mind. And never pay for a woman who refuses to respect you.